Okay, let's talk solar. When you think about getting a solar power system for your house, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Yeah, it's the panels, right? Those shiny, high-tech rectangles on the roof. They're the star of the show, promising you lower electric bills and all that good stuff. They definitely get all the glory.
But here's the thing. The success, or, the catastrophic failure of that whole investment, it doesn't really come down to the panel. Nope. It all comes down to this, the mounting system. It's the skeleton holding the entire thing together.
250 kilometers per hour. Just think about that for a second. That's the kind of wind speed your system could be up against during a super typhoon here in the Philippines, which sits right in the middle of the Pacific typhoon belt. So yeah, that really proves it, doesn't it? The real hero isn't the part that makes the power, it's the part that just holds on for dear life.
And that brings us to the system's unsung hero. Seriously, the mounting system is totally overlooked, but it's the foundation everything stands on. It's what's responsible for the structural integrity, basically whether your entire solar investment lasts or not.
So what exactly is this all-important foundation? Let's get into the playbook and break down the fundamental parts. Okay, so a solar mounting system. What is it? Well, you can think of it as the specially engineered framework that secures those solar panels right onto a structure. It provides support against wind, earthquakes, and it also handles weather protection and electrical safety. It's really the skeleton that holds it all together and connects it safely to your house. And it's made up of a few key components. You've got the mounting rails, that's the backbone, usually made of aluminum. Then you have clamps, both mid and end clamps, that hold the panels tight to the rails. You have the roof attachments, and this is crucial. This is what connects the whole thing to your building's frame. And finally, flashing. You can't forget the flashing. That's the waterproofing that stops any leaks. Each part seems simple, but together, they build a fortress for your panels.
Now, a strong foundation isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It's really important to match the mounts to the roof. You've got to have the right solution, especially for the most common homes here in the Philippines.
So let's start with a big one, metal roofs. You know, the classic Hierro roof. It's probably the most common residential roof you'll see in the Philippines. Okay, so with a metal roof, you have a couple of big challenges. First, leaks. Every time you make a hole, you risk a leak. The solution? L-feet with these special EPDM rubber gaskets that create a perfect waterproof seal. The second and even bigger challenge is getting a real structural connection. You absolutely cannot just screw the system into the thin metal sheet. No way. It has to be secured directly to the roof purlins or trusses underneath. That's the only way it's going to survive high winds. All right, next up, concrete roofs. You see these a lot in the city, on both homes and commercial buildings.
For concrete, you basically have two pro-level choices. The first challenge is avoiding leaks, right? Well, one solution is a ballasted system. This is pretty cool. It uses specially made cement blocks, just pure weight, to hold the system down. No holes, no leaks. The other option is a direct mount. This is where you use tilted frames secured with anchor bolts, but, and this is key, you use specialized concrete sealants to make sure it's 100% waterproof.
And what about tile roofs? They look great, for sure, but they come with a very specific challenge. The tiles are super fragile.
So how do you deal with that fragility? The solution is actually some really smart engineering. Instead of drilling through the tile and risking it cracking, professionals use these specialized stainless steel tile hooks. They literally slide under the tiles and bolt into the structure below. It's brilliant. You get a super secure connection without ever having to drill through the tile itself. And of course, you use flashing kits designed to fit perfectly with the tiles to keep everything waterproof.
Okay, so we've talked about different roofs. Now let's zoom in on engineering, specifically for extreme weather. Because here in the Philippines, you're not just dealing with rain, you're building to fight typhoons and earthquakes.
And the number one enemy in a typhoon? It's something called wind uplift. This is the really powerful suction force that's created when wind rushes over your panels. It acts just like an airplane wing, creating lift, and it literally tries to pull the entire system right off your roof.
Now, designing for that force isn't just a good idea, it's the law. The National Structural Code of the Philippines, or NSCP 2015, says that all solar mounting structures have to go through a rigorous analysis. This isn't optional. It's a mandatory legal requirement to make sure your system can handle the real-world risks. So how does it work? Well, a real pro follows a clear three-step engineering process. First, they determine your wind zone, using the code to find the required wind speed for your exact location. Second, an engineer calculates the actual forces, the maximum wind uplift and seismic forces your system will ever face. And third, based on those calculations, they specify the exact components needed, the right rails, the right fasteners, the right spacing to withstand those forces.
And you know what? Materials matter a lot, especially in a tropical climate. The professional standard is anodized aluminum. It's lightweight, strong, and has excellent corrosion resistance. What you want to avoid, the high-risk option, is standard or pre-galvanized steel. Why? Because it's just prone to rust, especially at the cut edges. And in the humid, salty air we have here, it's just going to have a much, much shorter lifespan. Okay, so choosing your solar foundation. With everything we've talked about, how do you actually protect your investment and make sure you're getting a system that's built to last? Well, it all comes down to asking the right questions.
And just let this sink in for a minute. The mounting system is roughly 10% of the total project cost. But if it fails, that's a 100% loss of your system's value. Think about that. This is absolutely not the place you want to cut corners. It is, for all intents and purposes, the insurance policy for your entire investment.
So, here are the key questions you need to ask your installer. This is your cheat sheet. Number 1. Is your mounting system engineered according to NSCP 2015? 2. What specific materials are used for the rails, clamps, and fasteners? 3. How exactly will you attach the system to my roof's structural frame? 4. What is your multi-step waterproofing process? And 5. What is the structural warranty on the mounting system itself? Seriously, ask these questions. Their answers will tell you everything you need to know about whether they're a real pro or not.
So, in the end, it all comes down to a pretty simple question, doesn't it? Is your solar investment built to last, or is it built to fly away? Are you going to invest in a robust foundation that's engineered to last for decades, or are you going to risk it all in the next big storm? It's your call.